Morning, everyone. If I could call up Agnes, if you could come up to say the opening prayer.
Okay, itamix kanotoniwa. Before I prayed, I'll share with you Chiksi next sak dating si motu gigsaki. And yesterday when I think Wilton was the one that was talking about somebody saying a prayer. I kind of laughed because nitsuka Aitsi'poyiiksi. And when I was in motu gigsaki, I didn't know how to pray. Muksi pitää kiiksi ikastuna tokana ikatsimu ikaya. Nistua teka koksaps chaki matsita simi pos sabtsita wahtus samaya awatsimu ikasa. And teka kokkawanyak ayuistipäätapio. And kimma kipita kiwo taapiwa kitsitanikaki kukuna kinohkanistiksim stahpi kiahkanistatsimu ikahpi kiahpi po ipi kitahksiksimatsini anne stamikakanistuuta kenne tsitkuttatsimu ikaki tuhtu kama kipita kiwo taapi tsitanikaki kukuna kita ohkuttatsimu iska kitsiksokatsimu iska kenne tsitomatapaatsimu iska matatsitamanispa ayuistipäätäpi. But I'll start with that. Ayuistipäätäpi jaajonoksikaksikoksitaaken oksistikuiskaat. Ayuki taamikastiku kimuhtaaksimatsim oppinaanaaken nikaaki kanaasoka piikaaki. Annakaaki tum oppeippu ispinaanakaaki. Ayu noksisti waanopaatussaaki noksikkaksikoksattusaaken nakaaki. Annakaaki amatussimaavakaaki. Annakaaki tsinskakkaaki oksistikuiskaaki. Ayu kimma tukitaa kimma piipitsitaaken nakaakestiistumivakaaki. Annakaaki taapivakaaki taasukinakiuppikaaki. Ayu noksikimmisaavaaki. Ahkohkassikasvatuumiavatistsohkuisuaa annikaaki. Otsta piimua vaiksaaki. Aaju noksipumukitaakisti päätä piupiaki. Annakaaki utapi sinakaaki tästä kakkinaanakaaki tahkopeipuisinaanakaaki. Annakaaki päipiksiwakaaki. Ituutsenimaavakaaki nikaaki atsimuiskaan ja kutsipumuksi. Aaju annakaaki niitä sitä piiminnaanaka. Aaju kimma tukinnaanaak ja kohkatskokuunuksiaavaak ja ahkohkatkonaskiita pitapiiaavaak ja aaju kimma piipitsit kimma tukitaak ja kohkaikamuutahpskaajavaak ja annikaaki mahkatsksuka pissupäätä piisuai. Aaju kimma tukinnaanaak ja nikaaki muhtaaksimatsim opinnaanaak. Omakastui tahkatsiksiski sinnaanikaaki. Sasksimokoi tahkatsini sinnaaniapistiskitsika. Ouki annika naamianastinskoikaaki. Annikaaki tamuhta paissita pispinnaanikaaki. Annikaaki tahkatsiku tsipinnaanaaki. Ouki tahkatsi taamita sapuki kahpina nomma pinnaanissaakenikaaki ja kokatsi. Aaju kimma tukitisti päätä pikaaki niitohkanoukuus pinnaanaaki. Aaju nohpikimmokinaan nokuusinnaanikaaki. Annikaaki tahkohkovaista matsaksinnaani. Tahkohkovaista pituissinnaaniavaaki ja annikaaki niitsitä piipäätä piisinika. Annika niitsi puaksinaanika. Aaju kimma tukitaaki annikaaki. Täskseni pinnaanaaki annikaaki ohpitskikki pinnaanikaaki tahkomansta ja pohtuusinnaani. Takukatapista pitskitannaani nokusinnaaniksi nissukusinnaaniksi annikaaki takkoista matsaksinnaania niin sitä piipäätä piisin. Aju kimma tokitaa kesti päätä pio päänkin. Aju annikaa kennom tahki tukutsemah pinnaanaa kennomaakin. Tohka nohpinnaannikaakin. Annika tahko pakais pinnaanaa kennika kanaa suka piikaakin. Okki kimma tokinnaanaakin. Annikaakin. Kaamutaan niistä vatsamaan. Sopokita piisi, nahsi päätä piisi, nikki niin päätä piisi. Hei.
Beautiful. That was a honor song. And next we're going to go with the flag song. Beautiful, thank you. So next, I would like to. I think this is something that maybe that we could include part of the next next gatherings, next conferences, to talk about our communities and history, and it'd be good information to learn about Laverne and Old Agency, the other communities out there, and so this is from Moses Lake in 1950. So our presenters are Rita Calf, Bruce Ironshirt, Leo Fox, and Harriet Heavy Runner.
Hoki I dami skanatune. Studaniku manistuku si teachta in si. Wayne, now Wayne Plum. I was grateful to Kumika at the building when the restaurant. My office was upstairs. I go down. I need to smoke. I need to out. And I was asked to work with the elders, and I think Wayne was the one that told me, my grandfather owns the Tom Ironshirt. The Noyes Katano, the mom was a white calf, Chikinaki. Then he was, I realized very quickly that Nietzsche, the elders knew me more than I did. For some reason, Nietzsche, my parents, grandparents, my Aitsi'poyiiksi are relatives. But later I had to find out more about that. So that's when Itaniwana Gatano si institutes to be unna manstuku si ingakukut. So he gave me that name, and I'm grateful, thankful for that name. I'll try not to talk too loud. Rita's here. I'm grateful and I'm very blessed to be working for a tribe now for over 30 years now. And I like to give thanks to a chief in council and the many terms that I've gone through to work with the committees and so on. I'm just grateful to go through all that. When I was asked to assigned to FCSS, it was just temporarily, but I'm still there almost 15 years now. I'm still wondering, am I going to be reassigned or anything? But I've been all over the place. I've been a social worker. I've been with employment, and I've been with programs, operations, and many other titles, which gives me a good, roundabout. For the blood tribe, their operations. I've been hanging around elders. I'm right from when I was only 8 months old. Well, I'm wondering why 8 months. I was the first premature. But anyways, my mother back then, what happened is, of course, back then there was no welfare. She had to go back to work, and I ended up in a lot of these homes that you see here. This map that Aitsi'poyiiksi, it goes back to the 40s and 50s. Maria, I don't know if Maria is here. Was it Jacinta? Maria and Jacinta were the ones that give me this map. And I looked at it and I thought, every morning, in our Agito Aitsi'poyiiksi, and all that, we've been fortunate to grow up with. And I go to that because that's where I grew up at. And I said to an elder, has it always been, who named it Moses Lake? Is it because of because of Moses? So, it's not that. An elder told me, in fact, my father-in-law, Charlie, told me, Aitsi'poyiiksi, we validate it, and we bring forth this map so that maybe we'll go through it. A lot of them, I was very fortunate to be able to witness and to go to like Jim Whiteball, their house, after they have a council meeting. Back then, the office was behind the post office, and they have their meetings, and then they'll go at debriefing. Oh, by the way, I live in this two world of Western thinking and our culture, and I'm a modern thinker. Sometimes I'm a confused thinker. Huh? Okay, anyways, I'll lead on into this. It's going to be interactive. I want everybody to just kind of get help us out. Nakawani na nita kit. I so can you a lot of people. Anabusako mate boy. You better tell them ganyai. But it all comes down to the elders that you see here, and you look at those 5 books editions. A lot of them are all tied into that. And if any of you can help us add on, there's some missing homes in that. But this is just the start. I know in our committee we said, well, Aksugapi standoff and bullhorn and so on. But just want to end off with one thing. It was Moccasin Flats is what it was well known for. And then there was the flood and everything. Everybody lived all along, the river, trees, you name it. And Amansta Moses Spare Chief, he used to always play down there along the river and everything. Kina Dan Bad Army, and he just threw you away. Well, because of the lake, they ended up calling it Moses Lake after this man here. So if you want to contest it, let me know. We can validate it. We could always. So my friend Tony. That's okay. Yeah, Moses Lakers. But anyways, half of us are Moses Lakers, whether we like it or not. We are. We're very fortunate. It speaks to us up these elders. And there was a lot of they would have, you go in and sometimes you can't even go in. There's a bundle, and I'm just glad that I was fortunate to be blessed by many of them. Hey, so with that, I'll pass it on because time is I already took 15 minutes. Oh, one joke before I leave. Assisted living. I over that's one of my programs, and I have this agreement needs the health department to take care of the elders. You need that continuing care. It's so cheap. We're short staffed today. Could you send one of the ladies over for the day? I'm not quickly. I got some, got some good staff. So I ate the boys. By the end of the day, so good cheap. That the lady that phoned. Then you know what, Bruce? Then he what? I'm getting squawky. It is so man. I guess honest to it. Well, he was going to put him back to sleep, to bed. Then okay, I could get to soap. But anyways, he was supposed to say, to go to bed, and then he told me, you got to teach him some Blackfoot. So I realized very quickly that, hey, our staff, you got to have that. It's a must. Hey? Anyway, I could go on. I'll leave it to Rita now. Okay.
Okay, next my English name is Rita. My maiden name is Blackplum, but I'm Rita Calf. Okay, I'm proud to say I'm part of the Moses Lake community. My grandparents, they were in me to be at Moccasin Flats, Nachtotsi, and my grandma's nickname was No Butter. So the older ones, that's how they knew her. So my mom is Aitsi'poyiiksi, and that is where we grew up. So my mom, my grandparents were one of the first ones that itapamistutsi into Moses Lake. And one of the privilege that for me personally, is I got to know a lot of the elders, and I'm sure that people that are sitting in here, those were your great-grandparents, your grandparents, your uncles, your aunts. But that was the privilege I had. Like Tsotsi, that's the one to do just to watch. That was my step-grandfather. He was the one we go and visit. Eh, ever house, todo ka sa Wukpinan. And that's where I learned is, guess kito, bigay guys, sikimala guys chops pa. Even though, uh, like some, ikukatop waps, kipita kiksi, hey. They want me, takot, mataak ka, hey. But it's just for me enjoying that comfort that these humakitapiksi, what they offered, hey. And each of them were my grandmas, my grandpas, and what I used to tell Robert before is, I think I was baptized and everything in every religion. It depends on which grandma I went to or grandpa. Like nakakaisikuwa is Catholic. So Sundays, if I'm at her place, naisikuwa si tsota mo is kakpinan. And yet, mat mo tuwa pius pa. Chitwan, that's that nikay na my first communion. So it's so that, I go there. It's so tuwa pius. Or if I'm with Tsotsi and me instead of piuka to Laverne, it's up seafood gospel Tsotsi. Then that's it baptized. So these are the things, I got to know. And my uncle Billy Singer, if I go home with them, they're Anglicans. Again, much baptized as an Anglican, and much as with the Anglican Church. And then Nixie, to me, like I think what I told Randy is I never really knew. All I know is Kaya. That's the name, because I couldn't say her name, and Randy said the same thing. He was one of the first ones that Yitsinska Chiniska. So for me, Kaya was the one, he was the one that taught, she and the old man were the ones taught me how Kiamni Tapyapi. Hey, like they skupis pinanaksnakwan and trees. Like it's not Randy, the family, the kids that were there. Watch the muskas. So those were, for me, I say I was very blessed. I lived among elders. As I said, those were your family. And there was a purpose why. And I know Bruce was going to talk about it, but but the main reason the elders is because of the medical like committees to Misai, there, except some there's no roads. So it's the ones that were willing, not all elders much to see. And as we'll say, some of the names that are there that we're going to bring out. But then that way they're closer to town, to the hospitals, to the clinic, to the so all these were the things. So again, I just wanted to say I was very blessed. I got to meet your great aunts, great uncles, great grandpas. Like I knew them, I visit them, and I learned a lot from them. Ken.
Just start the names. I don't think I could. There was a time I didn't know any of their English names. I just knew their Indian names. And of course, time to go to school. Somewhere, somehow, I didn't. I only spent a few months at at day school, but I didn't go to the boarding school. And I used to wonder, well, where's everybody? Where did everybody go? But I used to chop wood, get water for all these old ladies, and I knew their Indian names. But when I got this map, it was something I always thought about. One day, I really want to bring it back, and I think that's what this is all about. I'm going to be asking Leo, Harriet, Rita, if they could help me. There's a lot of them in that's what tumatapo na si kinipitama, because that was my dad, Joe Rabbit, that was his grandma, and that's where my first daycare was. And that's where Daksatapo. And right next door was na Matume. He lived there. We were wondering about his Indian name, but Leroy validates, says Anansta. And then he goes down, what's the other name? Again, I take both shows. I think, again, I'll be asking them to just kind of help out in their Indian names. And if any of you out there can help me out, I think we're recording again for the group. Aitsi'poyiiksi, those will be our intellectual property rights, Hanya. You can't just take them. They're protected. So that's where we are. In terms of my purpose is really just to kind of bring this up. The outcome is that hopefully we could quickly go through some names that I don't want to lose them. I know they should remain. And I think just to kind of bring them back up is the whole purpose of outcome of this. And our process is I've got the group here to help me, Rita. And if any of you, I've even asked Randy, who is a member also, and many of you out there that live there, get connected to these homes and that, and you probably know their names, Indian names, a lot better than I do. So if you can somehow, we'll use a mic. If anybody can raise their hands just to help us. We kind of got the master list here, yes. But when I got here, we quickly took pictures to kind of break it out. But it does go right from, who said lower Standoff? But I mean lower Moses Lake. But down by Moses Lake in area when you first drive in, and up to Gumi out by Wadsworth, right from the hospital there and up towards Waterton. And then me out by, I don't know if his name was Pukaka, but Nietzsche, Small Eyes and them just across the river there. Long Jim, I used to saddle up his horse. Make sure he made it home too. Those are the people that I was able to interact with and be part of. But again, wasn't until recently I started to know their English name. Even my mother. It wasn't until who sang that song, Maybelline? I know it's Chuck Berry. So kanikot snakikistans Mabel. And I thought, then I used to get mad every time I heard that. But anyway, on, and then even Antoinette. I thought, Antoinette. I was quite amazed with English names then. But today I must say they're not. Yeah, so I don't know if I want to say that, but I have to survive. I kind of lost those names, and my plate got a little too full with too much goals and objectives. With that all said, I'll just kind of back off a bit because I'm starting to be a comedian up here. Okay, so I'll
Testing.
up and pass it on to Harriet to say a few words. And yeah. And we could just maybe get moving because an hour is already like halfway through here. Yeah, okay.
Testing.
Can you hear me? Tayayuktuk. Okay, amoy matskakai ko tista pimawa tawani pipat amoy on this end takutumatapoy amoy na
This is Chia. It's Heimwald.
no amoy kititsini po muskrat. Okay, where did I see Chi? Yeah. Oh yeah. Nachia and me kaniki suyakiwa. Anito kuya kinike naka systemio. Ted Bull Shields, and then there was naka Mr. and Mrs. Joe Gambler, Aitsi'poyiiksi. And then Mr. and Mrs. Jim White Bull nahka suatsis ki man. Oh, I just said that word. Natuina mayaki. Then Mr. and Mrs. Chief Calf imunawa ki pukanatsinam. And then that Joe Crow Chief Meekskim Leo Meeksikam. Oh yeah, right. And then White Feathers Maniksistaki. And then there was the water tap. Everybody played there. I can remember playing there. No taistapskuku. And then there was Ahkiapikitstakyu. And then Nakisikuasyo. That's where I went to Isikuas. And then Nanematitsi tap, water tap, Ihtawakisi, everybody. And it seemed to be a meeting place too. Matitsi Itsitokisawati Mixi Tuiks. And then Mr. and Mrs. Willie Eagle Child, Achsina. And then Mini Iron, Mini, Sikakukitskinoa Mini. And then Paul Russell, Keskunakatakinak Nakao. And then Jenny Eagle Child, Inuksukaki. And then Mr. and Mrs. Jim Iron. Oh, no, Larondel, Inutsus. Ikei tami paskaya. Ukua I tepascope. And then napiuhkia Alec Little Shields, they napiuhkayo and Sipi Namayaki. And then behind them, Nakasinauk, Lester Heavy Runner and Sipita Piaki. That was how I knew her. Nach Grace. Hey? And then Mr. and Mrs. Joe Crow. He's my uncle and Deswatakskin. Mr. Muhte Munisi. And then Initeskimaki. And then there was Mrs. Maggie Brave Rock. M-A-K-I-I.
If anybody can add, I'm sure there's some audio.
Maki. Adeline Singer oksist na Sadie Kiteskin. Oh, Makey.
Make you brave, Ross.
Okay, and then I know the next block. Naxikakyu, and then at that time, I don't want to cause trouble, but she was living with Tom Holisinger. And then the next one was Mr. and Mrs. Jimmy Wells or James Wells. Nakstamik sopio ki Mani. And then Mrs. Dayrider Tsikinaki. And then Paul Hungry Wolf. Itutawa and oh, what's her name? Mr. Muhtemuni. And then Mr. and Mrs. Frank Wolfplum, Beacom and Louis. Oh, nah Louis. And this make a cookkan is Louis. And then now where am I? Kidna Mrs. Bull Calf. Is no the
The bull calf.
AI. Mrs. Bull Calf.
It's not Maud. Maud is
Estekana. Estekana. So we'll have to do more homework on that. And then Josephine Brown Weasel Kusunski. And then Wings Nak Imini. And then Natsisinski. And then Siksapi Awakumi. Is that okay? Awakumi. And then Mr. and Mrs. Ralph Bottle. Take a understand Ralph Bottle. Ispawani. And then Upitami.
May. May.
May no naka spawanyua Upitam.
It's not on.
Ista
Spawani.
Ispawanyua Upitam.
Ikaista paspawani sa kuika katu saak.
Oh, sa kuya kakato saki. Okay. And then naka Mike Mountain Horse. We need help with that if somebody knows Mike.
Sepestukskina.
Okay, Sipistukskina. Write it. Oh, yeah, it's I forget technology. Oh, no, I'm oak.
No, right there. Oh, right there.
Yeah. And then Louise Iron Shirt, Noisa. And then Makaki Isikamu Saki. Otapi Chikaso. Kako. And then Mr. and Mrs. Bill Bird, ni toiua ki natuhpuskiaki. Aneke anst. Natutskinaki. Okay, can you get to go a topiwa? Aitsi'poyiiksi, Florence Blackplum. And then you talk to Kuyua Kenyua Sua. Jim Blackplum. And then Sixapu by Donald Blackplum. And then makikini Mr. Big Head, Tom Big Head.
Wakikinina.
Anoksistuma. Aitsi'poyiiksi saken. Okay. Kinno na mod Colin last.
Sakua pohkumi.
Sakua Pohkumi and George Colin last.
George Calling. Nina puka.
Nine puka. Okay, we did these. Okay. And then namo matutapukuya wana Mr. and Mrs. Morris shouting na matumiwa. And opitami ansteni Queenie. Nahtsisi joka na tohpuskiaki. Annuista pukuja. Amok. Se biomuutsta. Okay. Oh. Eka na pinosu. And then naka. Oh, did I understand your pitami? Naka eka na pinosu ako pitami.
Tratabo.
Na Clara Healy uksistua wai. Oh. No, she worked at the Indian hospital for a long time.
I lost it.
Matuistiiksina. Matuistiiksina. Na Mrs. Jim Healy. Okay, and then naka Tom Oka. And Inakaki upitami aniste. And Tom Oka. Who's older than me in here? Jokes.
Sort of six.
Yeah, after.
Okay, yeah.
And then Luke, Small Eyes, and Irene. Now Luke.
Bukukina.
He said,
Bukukina.
oh, Bukina. And then Upitami. Young Pine. Irene Young Pine.
What was her name? I lost her name.
We'll find it some akapsatsi. Because our hour is almost up. No. George First Rider. Matum Okitopi. And then Niska. Emma. Matahoksknipa Aitsi'poyiiksi chikasim. And then, who's that?
The one I knew was that old man calling.
Old man calling, katan starts with sohku. Old man calling last.
Sakua pohku.
Oh, sakua pohkumi. Yeah. Yes. Kian han. Oh, kiamuksi. Oh, by the hospital, aninike matutapitsi. It's not Moses Lake, but Maniu. Not Dorothy. Dorothy Davis. Tsikayanista Aitsi'poyiiksi. And then Phyllis Wells.
You put arrow on it, so I know.
Otskapinaki. And then Sakuina. Yeah, na Sakuina ni tukui. Nima nokitsknoa Nataki. She was from 60. Okay, and then Nanina Aitsi'poyiiksi. Oh, Kitty Wadsworth. Kanistaki. And then Rosie Davis. Takukitsknoa Nosi. Rosie Davis. And then Kanatsuyiwa. Margaret Davis. And then Aitsi'poyiiksi, Mrs. Wadsworth. And then Istrika Saki. Again. How much time are we? Han. 10 minutes. Okay, cool.
Okay. 1, 2, 3.
Okay. Stona ko ka pukiayo. Ami makasin flat muki iksokan stomi away. Ani may nits na itupi. Paul Russell, long not Alekul Sinixay Tikisapukui. Ni tapasko Crazy Jim. Itokana pasko. Kini may si akani umita pants kiksi to as a pistui past. Annama Adam Delaney. Pete Anik Chief Kev Tokani to. The some Sixika much to. Any itamak pasko, as a pistui pasko. Kahamone to kakui. Itamisko inik muximata peaks. Matako was Nikiksi qua Puxapio, it was a umkineximaki tupia. It poco mioku swag, some guys most Puxapio is about 10 people that stop, and it's not an anestasi. Kikakitan is see Moses Lake. It's not Saka Puku is Pinan. Nikista talk up, no had it, but then it's not just to the top, it was about 14, 15, tapo duck. Me that so tap putting my chester. Not because it's out some about 6:45. Honey got to Niki meek. Hey, just Moses Lake out tapu duck here. Ni taps the nuts gonna tap soap guy na yopi. Hanoch. Ik tokisto toets mokam esina mot. Sika samas kini mi ko tuni ki toknama tapuya. Kinam siko asas mit sapu kyo kimmi okni takikak swatut. Khona nanya lunch bucket toknama tapukskas. Han skanistskistikuist itam soa potaki iminyo. Tsiao akaskunakata. No man tail feathers. Aniksi mata puri kai kumaksim. But nama atsagansta takka na mukhina sa kya potaki. What is the pakita panyopi? Aninits kunata suka. Tsikun so tsikta chiskas itawas toki. Wakana ta potaki. Keniksi naapiikko eksas mitä putukkuikkiä. Keskede pitää vastine kun tapaa puuttua. Siinä paat foodie workers vastinaa puuttua. Keniksi tohonesta saavan. Mä aika kitsi. Hän utautsini mä Irvi ikastan ratsis potsimi office Mr. Segansta Indian age in that Mr. Brown. Mutta sitä niinkin omaksi piimä naapiikon. Akaista matstokatumaamukka. Kita ko tohkui naanspua. Ita nistiskena Gervitski. Come say sukiitseminiki. You should tell him to leave. Sinkä saa it's Indian affairs. Taapoutumu. Mä rahut taksiksuatsu. Antikei tsipsti puhtuu senaksin. Kitsenää minunksi tsitsinoksi. Nyt saakia puhut. Utaumata pitsitsen. Kun tsitsitspii. Ahkaas sinä muutski. Itomata puhkiitsi Moses Lake. Itomata piisimia. Hän jäi tuksistutsi. Katei sono, iska naskini no kannaskakui. Katei sono kutstupi welfare. Ikaakstunat sokaapi matapiiksi. Laakni taps, kun taps, ahona poutakki. Hän jäi tuksistuttuutsi. Ken hoki muhtaa pakkuutsen nooniksi. Ukaki tannisti, hän nokanista skinepi Moses Lake. Itapi, itapiiksi. Akaita pium oksoatsi, kipitaki oksoatsi. Oki kattai mutta pinaan jawa. Akum, they had a soccer team, softball no tänään ja hockey team. Mutta ei naan saa hockey team. Ahkia poi tänoas. Miksi vaata kuinaan juoksa uniform? Not even socks. Miksi taakumutsa sen mers, niksi aakakumutsimia. Mä ahkia poin ajat chasnoki taapua kahkia poi. He said, go put your equipment on, mixes players. Chastin is what's an anspinana equipment. Tästä pitää kaksituksatu. But asat saa kämmätsi naapsi, mutta psukaapsia akumuutsisi. Ikutsami simsinin ohatsi tuksupatski. Kassikakaita piikin se maatikaksi sedaasitsi, mutta sinua reitsi bakskin saakka, se tsikkamsienniksi. Kennoka ake ne vakeita putuksesta tuots muskoutsessa tuupsti. Ok mä tunnistipuju. Nuhatanistaa tietysti ikaakimaa. I kukuusua eksäissimuk. Kukuusua essimuk. Ok mä teipuju itsipuksi. No heistä matsuuk. Sohkaista matsahki kukuusnus. Aikaista paukkaapi. Aika trutsksukaapi. Atsemuis, mikaksi katsemuis, kanas kimmutsi, käinoeksi kimmapiipitsi, käinoeksi kunataps, käinoe kukkakki, aamuskei, äsksini aaksaa sitä vessi, niin kohattaa omaksi pitää muuni pitää, aamuskei äsksini, eikä kima, jän.
Thank you, we all keep it. I'm just going to summarize. It would only take an hour. Spot. You know, there are other names that we miss, but it's a start. I think the whole idea is just to not lose their names. Remember the Indian names. I know there's people like even my great uncle George. It was when Chikinaki lived in there, and I used to go to the gym. There was always Napusin and Amutski. They were always there. So there's many others that I'm sorry, you know, if I miss. But I think the whole idea was that for me is that we're very fortunate as Gistunnon and that Ishinskwaya, our elders, we talk about our cultural values, beliefs, principles, ceremonials, stories, songs. That's where it was. You know, a lot of these elders had them. They were very blessed. So that those are the things that we were able to be part of. So just wanted to end it that way. And again, this is just to to kind of rejuvenate the whole little bit of history background. And in our committee, I think we mentioned that we'd like to go to the other areas, like Tony mentioned, and we'll go from there. So I think that's all. This is Mr. Paper because I got a whole bunch of jokes, but I'll leave those alone. Tony, maybe you could come up. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.